Now at 9, we'll take a look at the multiple state parks that are hosting first day hikes. Plus, the Pittsburgh YMCA begins its Destination Swim Challenge to kick off the new year. And
tonight, 3 NYPD officers are recovering after they were attacked by a guy with a machete in Times Square. I'm Alexis McAdams. I'll have those details coming up next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amber Jenkins. State parks across Missouri hosted first day hikes today. This video is from the hike at Big Sugar Creek State Park, that's down in McDonald County. Roughly a dozen people learned about the wide variety of animals and plants species in the park. Roaring River State Park in Cassville and Perry State Park in Minimise also host first day hikes today. Some Joplin residents got to start the new year with a nature walk at Wildcat Glades Park. KOAM's Yana Hatalis has more on the event with words from the participants and naturalists involved.
I get really distracted by birds.
Some Joplin residents started the new year walking on trails at Wildcat Glades Park.
Nature is good for you anyway, so starting the year off by coming out, whether it's cold, obviously today is a little bit warmer, so that's nice, but puts you in the right state of mind to start off the year on a good note.
Hikers got to enjoy great weather on this year's annual hike.
Mostly we're going to be looking for and listening for birds and honestly just enjoying the walk. It's not going to be super structured. We're not going to be specifically looking for anything, just enjoying nature. I think that's important as much as it is to identify things that are out.
Naturalists with Wildcat Glades traverse the paths while collecting trash and talking about the local ecosystem. Jackson says it's important to realize how much trash ends up in the nature, regardless how much they clean up.
Wildcat Glades removed, I think, 3.5 tons of trash from this area out here. So I think understanding that we work really hard to keep these natural areas clean is something I definitely want people to take away, and also to realize that just because it's winter, that doesn't mean that nothing is active and out.
Resident Kathy Stwally says she is used to collecting trash on her walks at home.
You open your car door and there goes your empty water bottle. So you have to be pretty, careful about your refuse. When you're rafting, you have a candy bar and you try to stuff it in your pocket, and so I think a lot of it's just by accident, but then some people just don't care. They just miss the trash can. And
Stwally joined the walk with her husband.
Well, I learned something today, that you do not collect feathers. I didn't know that. I thought it was for certain birds, but it's for all birds.
We have this really special area out here, so I think if people can come out and realize how special it is and just enjoy the trails that we have.
In Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
The hike gathered about 10 participants. The Pittsburgh YMCA is starting its Destination Swim Challenge. The challenge consists of swimming 435 miles to Memphis, Tennessee. Every mile swam is equivalent to 10 miles towards your destination. This challenge is for swimmers and non-swimmers, as it's another way to keep your body healthy.
So I think the main goal for this promotion is kind of to get more people involved with the Y, and more involved with swimming especially, because that's one of our areas that sometimes can get neglected more, because the fact you think, like I said, you think of gyms as fitness facilities, basketball courts, racquetballs. You don't think of necessarily as the pool all the time, which we have. Our indoor pool is open, and every day that we're open, it will be open unless told otherwise.
The event began today at 12 p.m. to kick off a healthy new year. Chloe Arroyo joins us with a first look at weather.
Yes, we do have a chance for some pretty severe weather as we head into tomorrow, especially in the afternoon. You can see we have an enhanced risk further south, mainly for Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. But looking specifically into our viewing area, we do have a chance for all modes of severe weather, mainly wind, hail, and heavy rainfall. Now, this timing is going to be around 3 p.m. starting us off, and then phasing out about 3 a.m. with some chances for some localized floods around the viewing area. You can see a couple of portions of the viewing area could see upwards of 1 to 2, even possibly 3 inches of rainfall. Now, coming up next, we're going to see the timeline specifics on this storm coming up next.
3 NYPD officers attacked with a machete near Times Square are on the road to recovery. One of the officers was working his first shift on the job before the machete attack. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has more from New York.
Tonight, 3 NYPD officers are recovering after they were attacked by a teenager armed with a machete near Times Square. Sources tell Fox News that suspect, 19-year-old Trevor Bickford of Maine, is a violent Islamic extremist who had been on the FBI's radar for weeks. On Saturday night, Bickford pulled out this machete-style knife and started swinging, cutting 3 officers. The targeted attack happened just blocks away from New Year's Eve celebrations in Times Square.
One officer, an 8-year veteran, suffered a laceration to the head. The second officer, who graduated the police academy on Friday, was also struck in the head, resulting in a skull fracture and large laceration.
We're also learning that the suspect's own family called police on him back in December, telling investigators that he was constantly online searching about the Taliban and was planning to travel to Afghanistan and, quote, wanted to die for his religion. New York Mayor Eric Adams, who spent more than 20 years in the NYPD, speaking about the attack.
These officers responded in an admirable, professional manner, and all the officers involved. And I must say that even after the incident took place, the responding officers made sure the scene was under control.
A labor union that serves active and retired NYPD detectives said in a tweet, quote, detectives and fellow cops face grave danger every day, and New Year's Eve is no different. They're courageously fighting violence across the city, including the NYPD officers. Right now, the suspect remains in custody and could face federal charges. Reporting in New York City, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another 4-state hero, Gary Trask. A native to Pineville, Missouri, Trask served in the Navy from 1962 till 1970 in Vietnam, earning multiple medals. To Gary Trask, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Later in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos. Danny Tezier has the highlights. A new study points to another part of your body that can experience negative effects of stress. Researchers at the University of California Irvine Medical School found that chronic stress can worsen your eyesight over time, and stress itself will age cells in the eyes, causing them to die off. The scientists say that the stress can create intraocular pressure that results in retinal cell loss and visual defects. Long-term fluctuations in regular ocular pressure are considered predictors of glaucoma. A report from the Centers for Disease Control and the National Institutes of Health says that the number of young Americans with type 2 diabetes could jump to nearly 700% by 2026. The American Diabetes Association Medical Journal says 65% increase in type 1 diabetes is already likely. The report also says a higher burden of type 2 diabetes could be borne by Black, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Pacific Islander, American Indian, and Alaska Native youths. Mental health challenges have been a growing problem on college campuses in the recent years. A new Doing Nothing course is aiming to help students relax, unplug, and slow down. Fox Aaron Mabin has the story.
I have spread my dreams under your feet.
Poetry, pillows, peace.
When the blackberries hang swollen in the woods, in the brambles nobody owns.
It is hard to feel stress while inside this Lawrence University classroom.
Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
I don't remember the last time someone read poetry for me or the last time I read poetry. I also took a nap, which, was totally permitted in the class, and I'm glad it was.
Because my body speaks to strangers.
Those mesmerizing words. The catnaps, a soothing crochet creation. Not the reason why Diego Leone and his classmates signed up for this unique course.
While he waits for a herring boat to come in.
It seemed very unusual, so I really wanted to make space to do nothing.
That is exactly what this class is called, doing nothing.
The blue and the dim.
This came from conversations that colleagues and I have been having for the last couple of years.
Whatever you guys need.
Professor Constance Kasser is its creator.
We're seeing students being stressed out all the time.
Mental health challenges have been a growing problem on college campuses in recent years. Doing nothing helps students relax, unplug, slow down. It teaches students self-care.
The
title of doing nothing is a little bit misleading in the fact that we're actually doing quite a lot.
Every week is a little bit different.
Classes have focused on Tai Chi, meditation, good sleeping habits, and more. There's no homework, no reading, no final exam.
When I started reading the curriculum, it's like, oh, about time. It was definitely overdue, especially since the bombardment of social media.
We talked with doctors Himanshu Agrawal and Cassie Ferguson at the Medical College of Wisconsin about how this course could benefit students today and for years to come.
If you should dip your hand in.
Giving students the tools they need to continue those practices beyond that hour that they have together. And it's really creating a community. There's a clarity that comes with sitting still and allowing your mind to be quiet.
Dr. Agrawal is a child psychiatrist. Dr. Ferguson has improved access to mental health services at the medical college. Both know the power of mindfulness.
I think it allows us to be present for other people in a way that we're not typically able to.
On this day, students brought blankets, leaving behind worries and one other thing.
Our phones are a no, big no in the class because we're always using them.
Derived from the rocky breath.
Lessons from a 1-hour weekly course.
It's taught me to make space for things. It's taught me to understand that mindfulness is important.
That hopefully lasts.
When we're rested, when we are happy, we make a better impact on the people around us.
Distant deeps or skies.
Long after the semester ends.
Chloe is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, how gas prices will continue to go down and how long will they stay down.
Winter, spring, summer, fall, not sure where we are, but tomorrow I think we'll head towards spring with this chance for some severe weather. Let's take a look at our current KOAM Indigo Sky Casino Resort. KOAM, it's very calm, very cool and collected right now, but that's not going to be the case as we head into tomorrow. We'll talk about that here just in a little bit. Our current temperatures are hanging around in the upper 40s to lower 50s, 51 for Miami, 43 for Pittsburgh, and even over down in Monette at 54 right now. So those warmer temperatures, they're not going to last much longer after we see a cold front push in, along with our chance for precipitation tomorrow. Now we do have this cold front off further to the west starting to develop. We have those warm Gulf air coming from the south, which is making us a lot warmer and has made us a lot warmer the past few days or so. But once that cold front pushes in, that dry, cooler air is going to push through and we have a chance for some severe weather. We have an enhanced risk further down south in Louisiana, parts of Texas, as well as Arkansas, the majority of Arkansas, and even parts of southeastern Oklahoma. Now for our viewing area specifically, we have more so of a marginal risk. You can see we're mostly in that green region, which is about 1 out of 5 of us on our scale. And then as you heard a little further south, we'll have a more elevated risk. Now we have wind, hail, and even heavy rain associated with this. In fact, we have a moderate risk for all three. Now tornadoes are a lower threat compared to the rest, but it's not possible, or it is also very possible, so we can't rule out a spin up here or there. But as we head into the evening hours, we'll have some lingering rain associated with that. Now, the severe threat doesn't end until about 3 a.m., so that rain precipitation will be a little bit more prominent at night. Now, here's our future track. We'll take a look. Monday morning, we'll have those warmer temperatures along with clouds associated with that. Now, by the time we head into Monday afternoon, we'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms along with that. And then we'll have more precipitation heading into the evening hours. That'll be pushing out by the time we head into Tuesday morning. We'll have some cooler temperatures for our high on Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday morning we may even reach below freezing for our temperatures, which is definitely a lot different than what we have been seeing. Now taking a look at our day planner, in the morning we'll be in the upper 50s and then reaching up to 66 for our high today. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Will be pretty seasonable for the rest of the week. 42 for Wednesday, 39 for a high on Thursday. Man, that's pretty chilly.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like the four states will give you the 4 seasons in all 1 week. I tell you what.
Oh yes, yeah, that is the tornado alley for you right there. You never know what you're going to wake up to.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Yes. Coming up, we'll take a look at what Gas Buddy is saying about the upcoming year and gas prices. Elon Musk's net worth plummeting this year, stripping him of the title of the richest person in the world. According to Forbes, Musk's net worth dropped over $100 billion in 2022, leaving him with around $146 billion as of January 1st. In October, he sold about $23 billion of his Tesla shares to fund his $44 billion purchase of Twitter. And Tesla's stock price has also taken a major hit this year, adding to his losses. Bernard Arnault, the chairman and CEO of LVMH, is now the wealthiest person in the world, according to Forbes. LVMH is a luxury goods that includes several brands, including Louis Vuitton and Sephora. After years of spiking gasoline prices, the cost of fuel is expected to fall. The app Gas Buddy released projections that indicate gas prices will drop early this year, declining by nearly 50 cents a gallon. This month and next month, gasoline is expected to cost an average of about $3 a gallon. But when the summer travel season arrives, gas is forecast to hit about $4 a gallon. Disney Enterprise Incorporated is suing the Secret Disney Group and Popsella Marketplace for allegedly selling knockoff Disney goods, including Mickey Mouse ears, buttons, and face masks. Court documents say Disney sent multiple cease and desist requests to the online sellers that were ignored. The lawsuit claims the items were sold through several websites. Up next, we'll take a look at a survey over how well people thought 2022 went and their predictions for 2023. Out with the old and in with the new. So just how bad was the old? A new survey conducted by one poll finding out that only 1 in 3 Americans say they had a great year in 2022. But on the flip side, about 57% of Americans say they think 2023 will be better for them than 2022 was. Last year, 45% thought 2022 would be better for them than 2021. More than a third of Americans already have their New Year's resolutions planned out. 21% will make incremental changes, 18% will make major changes, and 28% will implement both types of change. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, updates to the Idaho murders as the neighbor of the suspect speaks out. 2022 proved to the world that the world of politics isn't predictable as some would hope. Republicans were riding high with expectations of taking over Congress, while President Biden spent the year wrestling with inflation and helping Ukraine wage its war against Russia. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera shows us the big moments in politics from 2022.
The biggest story in politics in 2022 may have been what didn't happen. Predictions of a Republican wave taking over Congress turned out to be dead wrong.
It was a good day, I think, for democracy. And I think it was a good day for America.
Good for California Congressman Kevin McCarthy, too. Republicans won the House, and he wants to be the next speaker.
When you wake up tomorrow, we will be in the majority, and Nancy Pelosi will be in the minority.
Yeah! But the year began and ended with a battle to beat back COVID. Despite millions being vaccinated, new variants forced the Biden administration to once again offer free at-home testing kits at the end of the year. A violent and bloody war broke out in Ukraine in February when Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered troops to invade.
I think he is a war criminal.
The White House and Congress led allies to levy sanctions and have sent billions in military assistance to Ukraine ever since. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky came to Washington in December to personally thank President Biden and Congress for the support.
Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
Even before the war began, inflation started taking a big bite out of family budgets. Some parts of the country saw gas prices reach $6 a gallon. Food prices surged higher and still haven't come down. Republicans blamed runaway pandemic spending and didn't excuse themselves.
I think both parties bear responsibility for inflation. Inflation is largely caused by deficit spending, by higher taxes, by the printing at the Federal Reserve.
We will get inflation under control.
To rein in inflation, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates almost all year long. Now they're the highest in 15 years.
This is the best we can do.
As prices went up, President Biden saw his approval rating go down, dipping to the low 40s. In August, he announced up to $20,000 in student loans would be forgiven.
This is a game changer for so many people.
The plan is currently blocked by the courts. 2022 was a huge year at the Supreme Court.
We've made it, all of us, all of us.
Ketanji Brown Jackson became the first black woman ever to be confirmed to the highest court in the land. But just before she joined,
My body, my choice.
And after an unprecedented leak of an early draft, the High Court handed down a landmark abortion ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, leading to nationwide protests and a shakeup of the political landscape.
So now, let me sign the Respect for Marriage Act into law.
And yet, bipartisanship, often endangered in recent years, didn't die out. Congress passed laws defending same-sex marriages, tackling gun reform, and funding benefits for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. But former President Donald Trump's shadow still loomed large. The January 6th committee investigating last year's Capitol riot held multiple hearings, arguing the former president was directly responsible.
President Trump summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack.
The FBI also conducted a search warrant at the former president's Mar-a-Lago home over possession of classified and top-secret documents.
The shameful raid and break-in of my home, Mar-a-Lago, was a travesty of justice.
Political divisions too often took an ugly turn in 2022. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh was the target of a would-be assassin, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband Paul was hospitalized after an assailant broke into their home and attacked him with a hammer in San Francisco.
There is so much discourse that is fueled by hate and division.
The American people said, whoa, this ain't for us.
And yet, when it counted, this year's midterm elections ended peacefully. Democrats winning a Senate majority, Republicans ruling the House. And the end of the year brought the end of an era, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi making way for Hakeem Jeffries to lead House Democrats.
My thanks to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, an extraordinary speaker for the ages.
The first big battle in the House in 2023 may be for House Speaker. Kevin McCarthy is on the hunt for every GOP vote he can find, and his party is promising a slew of investigations, so expect another contentious year here on Capitol Hill. In Washington, Martha Rivera, Fox News.
Chloe joins us.
Well, yeah, we've got another chance for some severe weather tomorrow. I know, right? It feels like spring right now, and we're only in January, the first of the year. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather, especially as you head further south tomorrow afternoon. But for our viewing area specifically, we have a marginal risk for the majority of our viewing area. You can see all of us in that green zone. Then as you head further south, you're in that yellow zone, which is a little bit more of an elevated risk with that. Now we have also a chance for some localized flooding here and there across the region. Now, this is a projected view, so it could shift further east, further south, so you want to be prepared for that. Now, coming up, I'll give you a specific timeline of when those severe storms will come. Back to January temperatures on Tuesday and freezing temps ahead coming up here in a bit.
The Northwest is still grappling with the news of an arrest in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. One man who knew the suspect says he cannot believe he might have been involved. Fox Zach Anders has the story.
Tonight, our college community is on the Palouse, still in shock over the arrest of 28-year-old grad student Brian Koberger.
His personality does not match whatever the incident happened.
Neighbors around his Pullman apartment still trying to understand the motive.
He would talk about he wants to know why people commit crime, what is the key reason behind crimes, and how people think while committing them.
And now a public defender in Monroe County, Pennsylvania says Koberger plans to waive his extradition hearing, meaning Koberger could be in the state of Idaho in a matter of days, facing 4 counts of murder. Police in Moscow say his DNA places him at the scene of the crime. They also revealed that he's only been the focus of this weeks-long investigation for just the last few days. Moscow police adding they believe Koberger worked alone. And we've also learned since the November 13th murders, Koberger remained in the area. Students telling us they saw him continue taking his graduate-level courses and work as a teacher's assistant in an undergraduate criminal justice course. WSU's criminology department releasing a statement that says, in part, the department is aggrieved by the alleged horrendous acts of one of its graduate students. We are relieved that justice will be carried out. Our hearts are with the victims' families. And Idaho prosecutor Bill Thompson says the affidavit for his charges will remain sealed until he arrives in the state of Idaho. Zach Anders, Fox 13 News.
Chloe joins us with another look at the forecast next. And still ahead, some familiar faces take on a new challenge in a new Fox show next week.
The weather changes. All I can think about is that song, what's it called? You've Got a Friend, winter, spring, summer, or fall, because that's pretty much what we're seeing. And tomorrow we're going to get a glimpse of spring. Let's take a look at our indigo sky and casino network cam. Right now it's pretty calm and cool and collected. That's not going to be the case tomorrow with a chance for severe weather. Talk about that here in just a second, but our temperatures right now are going to be in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Grove sitting at 50, as well as Jay. Pittsburgh at 46, and over at Chanute at 52 right now. Now we have those warmer temperatures coming from that warm Gulf moisture, and that's been the case for quite a bit. Even last week, we saw those above average temperatures reaching up into the 60s, especially today for our high reaching mid to upper 60s. But we have a storm system brewing, and you can see this front off further to the west. It's going to push through our viewing area and give us some severe weather. Now we have an enhanced risk for severe weather a little further down south in Louisiana, parts of Texas, as well as Arkansas and Oklahoma. But looking at our viewing area specifically, we have a marginal risk, which is in that green zone, about 1 out of 5 on the severity rating. And as you head a little further south, we'll have a slight risk, which is a little bit more of an elevated severe risk. Now we have some moderate large hail, damaging winds, as well as some heavy rain associated with these storms. Now the tornado threat is a little bit on the lower side, but we can't rule out a couple spin ups here or there, so you want to make sure that you're staying prepared. Keeping up to date with KOAM News Now as well. Now the timing for this is starting around 3 p.m. and then we'll head into 3 a.m. and that is when we'll see this storm system kind of push out. But with that, just because that's a 12-hour window of straight on precipitation, we're going to have a chance for some localized flooding. Now this is a projected scale, so as you get further into it, we might shift a little further east or west with that localized flooding. Now taking a look at our future track as we head into Monday morning, we'll have some relatively warm temperatures, cloudy skies, and then we'll see some precipitation pop up here and there as we head into the afternoon hours, and then as we head into rush hour, that's when it'll be most prominent with more localized flooding and widespread severe thunderstorms that'll push out of our area. And then on Tuesday, we'll have some cooler temperatures for our highs, and then we'll even reach down into those freezing temperatures. Now, taking a look at our day planner for the next time, we'll be seeing some warmer temperatures. 58, we'll have a high of 66. Now taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we'll have temperatures pretty seasonal for this time of year, except pretty chilly on Thursday for a high of 39.
I feel so spoiled because now I'm so used to the 65, the high 50 or so, and then now it's just going to go all downhill.
Me too. I love those warmer temperatures.
Definitely. Thank you so much for the forecast. Coming up in sports, 5 local athletes earned a roster spot for the Kansas Shrine Bowl. Plus, the Chiefs beats the Broncos for the 15th straight time. Danny Tezier has those highlights and more next.
The Kansas City Chiefs host Denver for their final home game of the regular season. Mahomes is 10-0 against the Broncos, looking to keep that streak alive today. Shaky start for the Chiefs after an interception. Special teams makes a critical mistake. Kadarius Toney fumbles, and Denver recovers at the 16-yard line. Then it's easy points for the Broncos. Russell Wilson goes 16 yards for the score. They take the lead 10-6. Chiefs with the ball now. Patrick Mahomes dumps it off to Jerick McKinnon. He runs it in from 6 yards out. Kansas City is back on top. Back and forth game though. Chiefs trail once again here. Mahomes hits Blake Bell across the middle. He rolls into the end zone. 2017 Kansas City. Then Wilson gets picked off. It's L'Jarius Sneed with the interception. Chiefs capitalize on that. McKinnon finds the end zone for the second time today. The Chiefs a bit sloppy, but they hang on to win 27-24.
I felt like my feet got bad there in the second half, and then I missed the deep throws whenever they were there. And so when you're playing a defense like this, whenever they give you opportunities, you have to execute on them. And I didn't today. I took what was there and did a lot of good things as far as moving the chains in that first half, but in the second half, I just missed a lot of throws that I have to hit. When you win and you don't play your best ball, you don't feel like you play your best ball, that's always a good thing. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to, for 4 quarters, play our best football whenever we get to the playoffs, and I feel like we still haven't done that yet.
The 50th Kansas Shrine Bowl will take place this summer in Hays, Kansas. Today, the rosters were announced. 5 local athletes have been selected to play for this year's East Squad. Mario Mangini from Frontenac, Dagan Dean from Chanute, and Galena's Tyler Little have all made the 2023 roster. Also, Girard quarterback and Pitt State commit Luke Nigaman has earned a spot to play this summer. And finally, J.J. White will represent Pittsburgh on this year's team. The Neosho Wildcats are off to a great start this season. They're 8-2 overall. This past week, the Wildcats finished 3rd place at their home tournament, the Neosho Holiday Classic. Here's head coach Zane Kolb's thoughts on where his team is at and what lies ahead.
Yeah, 8-2 is great. If you win 80% of your games, you're a pretty good team, but our schedule's going to get a lot tougher, and that starts next week. East Newton always gives us a battle, kind of a rivalry game. That's what we play Tuesday. Then we go to Kaminsky, and we got Francis Howell first round, and every single one of those games will be really, really tough. So we're just going to kind of see what we're made of and go from there, and we're excited because that'll kind of, then we start conference play, and that's what we'll need to be at our best at all times.
The Pitt State women return to conference action this week with 3 road games on their schedule. The Gorillas travel to Joplin to play Missouri Southern on Monday. Southern is currently ranked 9th in the country and has only 1 loss through 13 games.
Gosh, they were really good last year, so I feel like they're still really good this year. And so I don't see a ton of difference other than just probably just maturity and comfort. And, you know, I see Ronnie just kind of sit there and he just watches. And so I feel like, you know, just a year under their belt is for some of them, and they haven't changed much, which, you know, that's scary for everybody because that just means that they're, you know, still really good.
That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Fox premieres a brand new show in the new year, putting celebrities to the ultimate test of physical, mental, and emotional resilience. We talked to the stars of Special Forces World's Toughest Test about taking on the course and what they took from the experience. Here's Fox Ashley Dvorkin.
16 celebrity recruits join one ultimate social experiment in Special Forces World's Toughest Test, and even surprised themselves at challenges they were up for.
Getting on the plane to go over there was a challenge for me. Leaving my kids was a challenge for me. So everything after that, I felt like I was challenging myself and really felt proud of myself.
We jumped off the side of a 25-story building, and we had to use the cables to get down.
It's a reality show unlike any other.
We were literally in the desert, sleeping on cots in one big tent, no running plumbing.
There was no production around either. That shocked me the most, that you
once you're in there, you're in there.
It's about facing fears and pushing limits.
In 2008, when I won the Olympics, I was like, if I can do that, I can mentally, physically, emotionally handle anything. I was wrong.
Heights, water, things like that. I was hit with those things day one. To have to face my greatest fears off the hop was probably the things I am most proud of my entire journey.
They also learn a lot along the way.
One, I'm a lot tougher than I thought and gave myself credit for, and then two, these incredible friendships that I've I will have forever.
I can really do way more than I think I can, and also that nothing's that big of a deal. There are people every single day that are out there. This is their real life. I think gives you some perspective as to what people are doing every single day and how lucky I am for everything I do, and just you have a lot more gratitude for each moment.
Do not give up! A special 2-hour premiere of Special Forces World's Toughest Test airs right here on Fox January 4th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Up next, we'll take a look at what's coming to theaters this month to kick off the new year. Tom Hanks, Hugh Jackman, and Anna Kendrick have new movies heading to theaters this month. Rick Damagella has a preview.
I designed Megan to protect Katie from feeling lonely.
The new year starts off scary with the sci-fi horror yarn Megan starring Allison Williams. Megan creeps into theaters January 6th.
I'm sorry you didn't get me here earlier. The whole neighborhood is falling apart these days.
Tom Hanks plays the local grump whose new neighbors try to help him in A Man Called Otto. The dramedy debuted in limited release over the holidays and goes into wide release January 13th.
We just really want you to relax. Relax in what way?
Anna Kendrick plays a woman in an abusive relationship in Alice Darling. The thriller arrives in theaters January 20th.
That's my little boy. I can't give up on it.
Also opening on the 20th is the family drama The Son, starring Hugh Jackman as a divorced father struggling between his old and new life.
Something doesn't feel right.
Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel cordially invite you to Shotgun Wedding. Guests can dress casual for the action comedy when it debuts on Prime Video January 27th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Those look like some pretty interesting movies. I'm excited for the Megan coming up.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be hitting up the movie theaters pretty soon here.
Nice. Tell me what's going on with the weather.
Yeah, so we're going to see some severe weather tomorrow afternoon on Monday. We have a pretty significant chance for severe weather, but that's going to kind of fade out on Tuesday morning. We'll see some lingering showers. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll have some partly cloudy skies, chance for precipitation on Saturday, and then looking like a nice and cool Sunday.
I guess winter is creeping back on in, so.
It really is. We're back to December, as Taylor Swift would say.
Thank you. That's our time for tonight, and thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of New Year's Eve, Fleur de Lis's drop in New Orleans. We'll see you right back here next time. Thank you for making us a part of your night.